My name is Lina Mendoza. I'm 32 years old and I run marathons. I'm not on any pro team, no sponsor, no coach. My running shoes, bought them online. My training ground is the park down the street. But my pace is solid, and my stamina comes from 10 years of running day in, day out. I don't run because I love it. I run because I owe someone. That someone is my mom. Her name is Carmen Mendoza. She immigrated from Mexico, never learned English, and worked as a sanitation worker in LA. Every morning at 3 a.m., she'd get up, put on a neon yellow work vest, and push a trash cart through the whole neighborhood. She'd pick up trash, sort it, bag it, then ride her rusty three-wheeled cart to the recycle yard. What she made each month barely covered the rent and my school fees. She never had time for breakfast, never had time to see a doctor, and definitely never had time to run a marathon.
Lina, you run. You're more talented than me. You have a future.
So I believed her. Starting at age 12, I ran 5 kilometers every single day. On the school track, on dirt, rain or shine. In high school, I joined the track team and won a district championship for my school. In college, I earned a half marathon medal.
After graduation, I didn't become a pro runner. I got a job at a grocery store, but I kept running.
Because every time I cross that finish line, I feel like Last year, she passed away. They found the stomach cancer too late. The doctor said chemo might buy her a few more months, but she didn't want to spend the money. Save it for you, she told me. Then she handed me her work shoes. The soles were worn flat, the laces knotted back together after breaking.
Lina, wear these when you run. Let mommy run too. Just this once.
I clutched those shoes, digging my nails onto my palms, and didn't let the tears fall. She never liked to see me cry.
She left at 3 a.m. on Wednesday. The alarm rang. She could not wake up. I turned off the alarm for her. Her hands were cold, knuckles thick. Black stains stuck in her nail crevices. Traces of 22 years as a sanitation worker.
She had nothing, only me, and the road stretching under my feet. She smiled brightly in the old photo.
Smiles hid in work clothes in America. Fluorescent yellow uniform, 22 years. I tied her broken shoelace again. These shoes walked with her 22 years. Mom, I will run the rest for you. She gave me the road. I run for her. I signed up for the LA Marathon, a 42-kilometer public race. The track runs through the whole city. The fee saved from 2 weeks' lunches, gone. I wrote Mom's name instead.
I drew a tiny butterfly on the shoe.
She said butterflies meant freedom. She never had freedom in her life. Trembling hands drew an uneven butterfly. To her, I was her best blessing. I increased training as the race neared. Running on the streets she cleaned, measuring her years with my steps, feeling the weight of her toil in wind. I run silently, only for her. I met an elderly sanitation worker at dawn, wearing fluorescent, yellow, pushing a familiar cart. She froze for a moment and recognized me. She knew Mom always talked about my running. Her rough palms were just like Mom's. I told her I would run the marathon. She said Mom would be truly happy. She handed me a bread wrapped in tissue. Tiny kindness hid lifelong love. I held the bread and held back tears. Her lonely figure walked through the street. The long shadow looked just like Mom. The wind carried endless, silent thoughts.
I packed my bag the night before the race. I packed Mom's worn work shoes. New running shoes for the racetrack.
Old shoes, waiting for the finish line.
New shoes stiff, like tough early days. Worn shoes softened by years of toil. Mom grew used to every hardship, used to dawn shifts and rainy days. She never complained, only gave silently. A bowl of hot soup held all her love. I dreamed of her in the late night. She waved in her fluorescent uniform. She would wait for me at the end. I woke up with tears on my pillow. Her old chipped cup keeps her presence.
I headed to the track at 5 a.m. The city glowed before dawn broke. Lena. Crowds gathered for the long run. While others cheered, I stared ahead. I whispered, "I will finish it." The old photo stayed close to me. The starting gun fired, crowds rushed out. I kept my pace, steady and firm. The first 10 kilometers felt easy. Legs grew heavy at 20 kilometers. Old injury ached at 30 kilometers. Body hit the wall at 35 km. Strength drained away like leaking water. Every step hurt, but I refused to stop. Someone was waiting for me at the end. She used to say, "Rest when your body's tired," but she never did. She always said to me, "No time, Lena. I still have to cook dinner for you tonight." Her no time meant putting herself last in everything. As I ran, a memory suddenly came to me. She pushed the cart in the rain, water dripping down her brim. She didn't hide, because the garbage truck wouldn't stop, and neither could she. Her marathon was longer than any I'd ever run. I only ran for hours, but she ran for the rest of her life. 98, 99, 100. Just count your steps. 1, 2, 3. Count to 100, mijo. You can do it. She may not have read many books, but she knew better than anyone how to live in the moment. I got through a few more kilometers using her method. Her steps were etched into every step of my road. Cheers by the road, wave after wave.
You can do it, Mom!
A boy held a sign, shouting pride for his mom. Blue t-shirt, round face, sweat on his forehead. I stared, distracted, nearly tripping by the road. I remembered childhood, her picking me up from school. She hid her job, protecting my dignity. Folding cardboard after school for 2 coins of candy.
Poor days, but full of solid happiness.
Now I know, hardship was born by 2. I said thank you 1,000 times. She only said it's only right. Not should, but her willing choice. Decades of giving, never taken for granted. She could have left, chosen the easy way. But she chose the hardest path instead. Those hardships were her gentle love.
Near the 40-kilometer mark, the sole of my new running shoes started to come unglued. It wasn't a quality issue. My ankle posture was off, fraying the shoe upper. With each step, the sole curled up. I slowed down but couldn't stop. No aid stations, no friends to help nearby. Half a kilometer later, the sole piece fell off completely, dangling precariously from the toe. Bent down to touch the cracked shoe, and despair surged over me like a tide. I squatted by the road, hands on the ground, as people passed by and asked if I was okay. I heard the concern in their voices, but I didn't want to reply. I took off the broken shoe, stepping barefoot onto the hot asphalt. The morning sun in Los Angeles scorched the road. My foot felt seared. I flinched but held on. Someone stopped to offer water. I shook my head. It wasn't about water, but faith. I stood there gasping for breath, taking off the other shoe and holding both in my hand. I pulled out her work shoes from my backpack, sunlight hitting the surface. The hand-drawn butterfly on the shoe flickered twice, lopsided. She wore these shoes every day when she was alive. The soles worn flat, laces tied in a tight knot. It had walked 22 years of streets, and now it was my turn.
Slipped my feet into her shoes. They fit me perfectly, thin soles with no cushioning, yet they kept my steps grounded. I stood up and took unsteady steps, far heavier than my running shoes, like two small boats carrying my heart. The butterfly on the shoe seemed to glow. I knew it wasn't real, yet I believed. I jogged forward with a limp. Blisters burst, blood soaked through the insole. 2 kilometers left. I would not stop. Strangers shouted for me to rest. I ignored them. I moved forward with uneven steps, breath ragged, chest.
Santa Monica Beach came into view. The finish line was set up on the sand, and the Ferris wheel spun slowly in the distance, with the sea breeze blowing, carrying a salty smell. A staff member's voice came over the radio, a little tired.
The last runner is about to cross the finish line.
Everyone else had finished. I was alone on this track. The radio voice echoed across the empty track, and I could hear my heartbeat overlapping with those radio waves. My feet didn't stop. I kept moving forward. Spectators lined both sides of the track. The applause wasn't for speed, but for me still running. An elderly white-haired lady stood by the road, giving me a thumbs up. Her lips moved. I couldn't hear what she said, only saw her red eyes. As I ran past her, I nodded slightly. Her mouth twitched, as if she'd let out a breath. The road was still beneath my feet, the sea breeze still blowing, and I didn't stop.
Last marker. Bloodstains deep and shallow. Every step on her footprints. Finish line, red carpet and timer. She's not here, yet she is. Fluorescent yellow, waving in the crowd. Sun glare. I squint my eyes. More sweat than tears, no tears to shed. Crossed the line, time frozen as numbers. Last place, I don't care, medal and blanket in my palm. Her shoes, worn flat soles. Feet numb, socks soaked in blood. Gasps. I only shook my head. Pain is nothing. She's with me. The road ran, all her road. The microphone suddenly reached me. His shirt was pale blue. The camera faced me straight.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
He saw the shoes on my feet. Those were Mom's work shoes. In the hospital, she stared at it all day.
Mom is over there.
His eyes turned red. She bought these shoes by picking trash.
I can't let her down.
I held up the shoes, shouted to her.
Mom! I finished the run!
She heard it. That's enough. I sat on the beach long after the race. Sea breeze swayed the medal on my chest. I took off the old shoes and set them down. Soles stained with blood and dust. The butterfly on the shoe faded away. I wiped it, yet the mark remained. Seagulls flew overhead with sharp cries. Mom grew up by the sea in Mexico. She never visited the coast again, always busy, never had spare time. I walked down to the lapping waves. I held the shoes and let the sea cleanse them. Cold, clean water washed away all dirt. When the sun rose high, I put them back on. An old song brought back her quiet warmth. The interview hit the news, ratings soared. The headline was her, in Mom's shoes. 10 million views, comments in chaos. Some cried, some praised, some doubted. I replied to none, ignoring screen noise. What I cared for was off screen long ago. Put down the phone, no need to explain. Those who believe understand my heart. Colleagues praised. Boss gave extra leave. Thanked him, turned to the market, bought corn, cooked her favourite soup. Across the table, the chair was empty. The soup was hot. Tears fell into the bowl. First cry since she left this world. Missing her silently, soup full of her.
After crying, I wiped my tears and washed the bowls. Then I took an old gray coat of hers from the wardrobe, the cuffs worn through. I put it on and stood in front of the mirror for a moment. The coat was too big. She was smaller than me, yet the coat looked loose. Maybe she deliberately bought it a size larger to wrap herself up more tightly. I folded the coat and placed it next to my pillow. That night, I smelled her scent and slept deeply. The next morning, I went for a run again. I put on the new white running shoes. The wound on my foot had scabbed over, and it hurt a little to run. But I didn't want to stop. An old man walking his dog in the park saw me and said,
"You were on the news yesterday."
I said, "Yeah." He said,
"Your mom would be proud."
"I know." He didn't say anything more, just pulled in the dog leash to let me run past.
A sports brand once wanted me as their ambassador. Free Top Gear, 6-figure sponsorship, few events yearly. The contract banned competing brands. I thought it only meant rival companies, but they meant my old shoes. Swap them for the latest runners. I stared at that email 3 times, then calmly replied, "I'm not swapping. These aren't just shoes. They're my mother's only keepsake. I can replace shoes, but never bring Mom back." They came back, double the fee, a management team, full personal branding. I deleted every chat and shut down the computer. No one's immune to fame and fortune. I promised Mom honesty. She taught me that for life. Word spread of refusing the endorsement. Some called me pretentious, some genuine. I ignored it. Life went on as usual. A package from a stranger elder. A pair of blue insoles. Stitches tight. A note. Insoles, ease your hurt feet. Her daughter. Also a sanitation worker. Her daughter cried after watching my race. Insoles cheap, woven by her own hands. I put them in her work shoes. Perfect fit.
No clue the size, but mother's bond.
I wrote a reply. 3 lines, only. Thanks for insoles. Thanks for her daughter. Post office asked. I said, "A mum." Ordinary kindness warms the road ahead. I received letters from many strangers. Envelopes covered the dining table. Some said they were touched by my story. Some said they also have a hard-working mother. Some said they wanted to run for her. Some letters were handwritten, others printed. Some were long, and some had only a few lines. I opened them one by one and read every word. I read late into the night until the words blurred. It was not tiredness, it was tears. I chose to reply by hand to every letter. Run for her, she can see it. I replied to more than 100 letters and got new calluses on my hand. Different from hers, yet both born from persistence. I put the rest letters in a box to reply slowly. I reply a few every night, telling her her story is still remembered. I started a sports fund for sanitation workers' children with my race bonus. I named it Carmen's Light after my mother. The sum was small, yet enough to support dozens of kids with shoes, fees and training. I also launched an online crowdfunding campaign. Unexpectedly, it raised tens of thousands of dollars in a month. Donors from all walks of life left messages for your mother. One anonymous donor contributed $10,000 at once. I wrote in the thank you list, "Thank you for letting me believe kindness remains." The fund's first grant went to a 15-year-old boy named Miguel. His father is a sweeper, and he loves running, but his family could not afford proper running shoes. I took him to the shoe store and let him try several pairs. He finally picked a pair of grey training shoes. Miguel put them on, looked in the mirror, and teared up.
I will run hard, Sister Lena.
I know.
He ran last, yet never stopped. By the playground, he gasped for air. A bottle of water held out to him.
He asked, "Was your mom never complaining?"
I nodded, the answer in the wind.
Dad smells bad.
Classmates avoided him. Avoided Dad too. That smell is the weight of home. Cried, silent yet deafening. Reached out, pressing his head gently. Sunset stretched his lonely shadow long. Later he ran faster, with courage. Beyond the fence, Dad in work clothes. A hug, melting all estrangement. He said he loved him. That was enough.
The first Carmen's Light Children's Run by the Foundation was held in the community, with only dozens of children participating. But almost all parents showed up. They were the sanitation workers we often see on the street. They held up their phones, wanting to capture their children on camera. That smile was a sight rarely seen on their faces when they were on the street. Miguel won first place, and after crossing the finish line, he ran straight to his dad. His father was a quiet, middle-aged man with sun-darkened skin. Miguel hung the medal around his father's neck. The man froze for a long time, saying nothing. Then, he lifted his hand and patted Miguel's head. It was just that one gesture. He never smiled. His eyes glinted in the sunlight. Was it tears? I wasn't sure. But the wind dried up that faint glimmer. The wind at the track still blew, like unspoken tenderness.
The kid's run ended. She came to me. The little in her arms, the older by her side.
My daughter wants to run.
Sophia, thin and small, eyes bright. I knelt down, asked if she wanted to run. She nodded, like hiding little stars. I filled the form, wrote down her name. A pair of pink shoes fit her feet. She ran, slow but steady. Shoelace loose, she called Mum. Mum knelt down, movement slow, tied the lace. She looked at me. In that look, tiredness, gratitude, and a little light. I knew it. Mum used to look at me like that.
The sports brand contacted me once again. This time it was not a contract, but an apology. The PR director called personally with sincere words.
Our team did not know your story before and made an inappropriate proposal, for which we sincerely apologize. We respect your choices and your mother's choices. If you are willing, we can sponsor the fund for free without any strings attached.
I held the phone and thought for a long time.
No need for shoe sponsored. But you can sponsor the children's competition transportation and accommodation if they have the chance to compete out of state.
The other party agreed immediately.
Okay.
The cooperation was settled just like this, with no contract and no signature. They kept their promise for a season and continued ever after. I posted it on the fund's bulletin board with an attached sentence. Not all mistakes are irreparable, but the premise is knowing you are wrong. The PR director later mentioned this call in an interview. He said it was the simplest yet hardest business communication to respond to.
The committee asked me to be honorary starter. I neither agreed nor refused. Honor belongs to those not crossing the finish line. My name was printed on the brochure. In the photo, I held her work shoes up. The Ferris wheel of Santa Monica in the background. They wrote, "The slowest finisher in history." One champion, but all finishers are their own champions. In an interview, a reporter quoted me, I care about finishing, not time.
Finishing is an answer to the departed.
I became a motivational symbol for others. But I never meant to be a symbol. I am just a daughter, chasing that light at my own pace.
A documentary director approached me, wanting to film my mother's story. I hesitated for a long time and finally agreed. The director was a woman in her 40s, speaking softly, asking about many details of my mother that I never knew. She asked,
"What hobbies did your mother have when she's young?"
I shook my head. She had almost no hobbies. The director asked again,
"What was her favorite saying?"
I thought for a moment and said that familiar sentence, "Go to bed quickly. We have to get up early tomorrow." The director filmed the neighborhood she once cleaned. The street at 4 in the morning, empty, only street lamps. She also filmed the neighbors, former colleagues, and the boss at the scrapyard, who always bought cardboard at a low price. Those who had intertwined with her life became fragments in the lens. The sky was still dark, and the street lamps were dim yellow. Finally, they filmed me running along that road, wearing that pair of work shoes. In the lens, there was only my back, a pair of faded fluorescent yellow work shoes, and that crooked butterfly. The director asked me,
"What do you want to say to your mother?"
I looked at the lens, which seemed to lead to the other side. I spoke softly to the lens, saying the words from the bottom of my heart. "Mom, I've run many times. Did you see it?"
On Wrap Day, the director treated me to dinner. A small Mexican restaurant, tacos steaming hot. It was Mum's favorite flavor when she was alive. She asked, "Did you ever hate your mum? Hate her for no time, for always being tired?" I only hate being naive as a kid. She was at her limit, yet told me stories. I woke her by kicking. She kept talking. The director's eyes reddened, said Mum would be glad. She didn't need this. Just me alive and well. The car passed the street she once cleaned, rolled down the window. Wind rushed in. Under orange streetlights, trash cans stood neat. Closed eyes, as if hearing her cart's sound.
After the film was released, the street she used to sweep was renamed Carmen Mendoza Road. The community raised money to put up a small dark green sign with gold lettering. I unveiled it, standing beside the sign, warm sunlight on my shoulders. The neighbors clapped, and someone read a eulogy. It was an elderly white-haired retired teacher who read the eulogy. He read it once in English, once in Spanish. When he read it in Spanish, the Latino neighbors murmured in response. I stood at the front, didn't cry, but my eyes felt burning hot. Now every day, someone says her name on this street. School children passing by after class stop to touch the sign. They may not know who she was, but they'll remember the name. A mother, with the length of a street, held up a home for her daughter. This road became her mark left in the world, and I will walk along this road, always.
The foundation received an anonymous donation, just enough to fund the students for a full year. He message column read, "This is the money for that pair of running shoes." I didn't know who it was, maybe the sports brand, maybe someone who watched the documentary. Some kindness is meant to stay in the background, no need to ask where it came from. I didn't look into it further. I put a note on the bulletin board. Just 3 simple words. Thank you. It was also the money for that pair of running shoes. Enough to help 10 seeds take root and grow. Kindness is silent, yet more powerful than sound. No need to ask where it came from. Just catch this tenderness. The meaning of those running shoes has long gone beyond the shoes themselves. Like seeds, they will eventually find their own way in the soil. Every act of kindness is the strength to move forward. The money for that pair of running shoes is 10 seeds and 10 paths ahead.
I took a photo of those work shoes and made them into badges. I wanted to give them to every donor of the fund and everyone who joined the charity run. On the back of the badge, it was engraved with Carmen's light. The first batch of 200 badges was all given away. Later, someone wanted to buy them, but I said no. This isn't a commodity. It's a memory. A girl pinned the badge to her school uniform after receiving it. Her mother was a sanitation worker. She wore the badge to school every day. She said it was her mother's light.
This is my mom's light.
A single badge held the warmth of the ordinary. It wasn't just a shoe. It was the road traveled. Memories were never meant to be sold. If it's light, it deserves to be seen. Carmen's light is also the light of every ordinary mother.
A pair of pale grey new running shoes. No brand, yet spotlessly clean. Bought with her scrap, collecting money.
She squatted down, smoothing the creases.
I squatted too, trying on the shoes. Not big, not small, a perfect fit. The soles were soft, not stiff. I put them on, walking to the street. Running, every step felt light. Not the shoes light, but my heart. She knew we're all running. In our own ways, moving forward. Scrap money bought a heartful gift. Steps touching ground, a gentle reply. Keep running with this lightness. A reporter interviewed me again.
Do you still run in those old shoes?
No, I've kept those shoes in a glass cabinet. But for every important race, I place it by the starting line, watching me leave and waiting for my return. It can no longer run, but it can still witness.
How much longer will you keep running?
Until I can't run anymore.
My mother never ran a marathon, but she spent far more time on the road than I did. I will finish the rest of the road for her. I've never thought about giving up along the way. These old shoes hold all the hardships my mum and I went through. It can't run anymore, but it always walks with me. Running means far more to me than just competitions. My mum endured all hardships silently and stayed with me all the way. I will keep walking the road she never got to finish. Running for a lifetime is my best reply. On her death anniversary, I put on her shoes. At 4 a.m, the streetlights still glowed. She walked this street for 22 years. An empty road, her everyday life. The bakery light, before dawn, that expired bread, her tenderness. Trash cans lined up, waiting for her hands. I picked up a plastic bottle, like her. Crushed the carton, folded it neat. 10 minutes, my hands ached already. Her 22 years, rain or shine. Stood straight, the sky turned pale. A new day, she couldn't see it, but her steps, still on this street. I walk the unfinished road for her.
That day, after walking back from the street, I got a call from Miguel. On the other end of the line was his voice, full of excitement. He said he'd signed up for the school track and field team.
Sister Lena, I signed up for the school track and field team. I ran 1,500 meters in the tryouts and got 3rd place.
Though it was only 3rd place, it exceeded his expectations.
Even though it's 3rd, it's beyond my expectations.
He mentioned the pair of running shoes I'd given him.
Sister Lena, do you know? I wore the shoes you gave me on the day of the tryouts. The soles are so comfortable, and running feels really light.
I asked him about his dad. Does your dad know? He said his dad knew, and even took half a day off to watch him run.
He took half a day off to watch me run.
In the crowd, only his dad was wearing a fluorescent, yellow work uniform.
He stood by the playground, wearing his work clothes. All the other parents wore casual clothes, only he had on fluorescent yellow. When I finished running, he waved at me, and I saw it.
On the other end of the line, he fell silent for a moment. After a moment, he said what was on his mind.
Sister Lena, when I was running, I thought, my dad gets up at 3 every morning. I'm just running 1,500 meters. What reason do I have not to keep going?
I held the phone, not saying a word. Some truths don't need to be taught by adults. Children will figure it out on their own, sooner or later. The email from Boston was an invitation for a charity entry. They wanted me there. Not as a runner, but as a Hope ambassador. The condition? Wear the work shoes to race and cooperate with promotions. My answer was clear. I'll wear the work shoes, but I won't cooperate with promotions. The organizing committee agreed, only asking me to share my story via video call before the race. I agreed. The video was short, just a few words. No extra sentimentality, only the words from my heart. I run because my mom can't anymore. That sentence was for her. It is her first time waiting for me to cross the finish line by the road. I want her to see it sooner. The road is beneath my feet. Running is the only answer. No promotions, only running and longing. For her, and for the road beneath my feet.